All right, this module for Introduction to Spreadsheet for Excel 2013. So we will have two chapters from here. The first chapter will be the introduction, and obviously that will be more basic stuff. Now, obviously, when you move to the next chapter, that will be more formula wise. So we're expecting more formula on that uh, that chapter. So we'll see like the few thing we'll see that will be kind of little bit uh, easier, I would say, basic thing, and the other side we'll see that will be little bit formula wise. Who is start with the indirect tax? How are we going to pass the synoptic? Well, the indirect tax exam, as I said, it is the separate exam you have to pass yourself separately. It's not like indirect tax is not a link with the synoptic. If you already passed, it is fine. If you didn't pass, you can do it later on. So you don't have to do the synoptic until you complete all the paper. Okay, so let's have a look what we have to learn from the spreadsheet. Now there are a few basic things that we do our everyday working life. So I might say like how to open the file, how to open a file, how to save, how to print. Now all of this is quite basic for all of us. For example, sorting, for example, filtering. So all of us who use the Excel, we know how much important it is, this basic stuff we do everyday life. But in Excel, there are some built-in formulas, and these formulas will make our life very easy if we know how to use it. So from this paper, we try to learn few formulas because it is important for the exam and also for the workplace. Now, the few formulas that will be very important for us that we're going to learn from the spreadsheet course. So I'm going to write it down for all of you, what you're going to learn from here. The first one, the formula wise, that is very common in the synoptic exam, that is called if formula. If is quite popular formulas among the Excel formulas we have. If is quite easy to use. So for example, if I said, if this is that, what will be the result? So for example, uh, if we have 10, if we have a 10 book and 5 are reds and 5 are blue, so how many blue and how many reds are there? So this is come under if formulas. So you can say if and count if. So if formula normally used when I try to compare something. Let's say I have a two result. So for example, I have a budget, I have actual. Let's say for example, my plan was I will go for a holiday. For accommodation, I'm going to spend £50. For travel, I'm going to spend £50. And for the food, I'm going to spend £50. So my plan was my total expenditure will be 150. Now, when I came back from holiday, I have checked and I have found I have spent 200. So my plan was 150 and actually I have spent 200. So what will happen? I can check with the C formula. I can say if A plus B plus C, these three rows or three columns, if I add, it has to be equal to column D, that is 200 actual. So if it is match, then it said fine. If it is not, then we say check. So this is just an example, but in the real life, what we do, especially when you prepare the management accounting, so we prepare the budget. Let's say, for example, if I decided to make one pen and let's say like my cost is £10. So in this pen I have a direct material, direct labor, factory overhead, all of this, and that's my plan. And when I have the actual result, I have to compare and I have to get the variance, the difference, what was the plan and what is the actual result. So some of the cost may be more than plan, some of the cost can be less than the plan. So obviously, after checking all of this, we'll see my plan was this and my result is this. So I can put by using the if formula, if I said if this cost equal to this, then I would say is good. If not, then I would say check, or I would say it's not good. So I can write anything I like. So from this if formula, we're going to practice few things, and hopefully when you practice, actually you're going to see how actually this work. Then there is another formula that is very close to if, that is called countif. 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 Countif is like, for example, let's say if I like to see how many students present today's lesson. Let's say, for example, I have a 60 student register for today, and if I have 30 present or 40 present, what will happen? So the formula will count automatically how many students present from the whole attendance. So I can say if it says present, then keep count. If not, tell absent. So if I put the formula from the whole Excel sheet or from the whole workbook, the formula going to check automatically and tell me this many students joined today, this many not. So this formula is quite popular, where you have to count based on any number, based on any figure, or based on any name. So you're going to see that as well. The next thing we're going to see, that is absolute referencing. Absolute. Now, absolute referencing, we don't we don't use it. We don't use it very often, because absolute referencing is the formulas that we use when we have a one set number and we try to connect with a different number. For example, let's say I have a sales. Let's say I have a sales for month one, month two, and month three. So I have a sales for 3 months, for example, month one, month two, and month three. And whatever is the sales, I like to connect it, or I like to add VAT 20%. I like to add VAT 20% on that. So I said month sales one will be multiplied with 20%, month two will be multiplied by 20%, and month three will be multiplied by 3%, 20%, and after that it will give the result. Now I want every single figure I'm going to calculate that will be impacted by this VAT rate. And that case, sometimes Excel will not understand it. For example, let's see if I do 2 plus 2, that will be 4. And let's say it's 2 plus 3 plus 2. Let's say it is 3 plus 3. So if I double click here on the plus sign, the Excel will calculate rest of the formula automatically, isn't it? But if I want every single number will be first connected with this VAT figure, then the Excel might not understand it. And that's the reason we use absolute referencing. Now, absolute referencing means putting the dollar sign. Absolute referencing means putting the dollar sign, and that you will be seen on your F4 key on the keyboard. On your F4 key, you're going to see this absolute referencing. Now, absolute referencing will tell me, like, okay, I want this one, 2 plus 2, but add the VAT percentage. So I said this, and I want to put the connected cell here. So after that, if I double click, all this rest of the formula will understand everything will be connected with this VAT. So this is the basic understanding for the absolute referencing. The next one we're going to see from here, this one is called VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP. Now the VLOOKUP, sometimes we use the horizontal as well, that is called HLOOKUP. It's the same story. So VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP is like vertical and the horizontal. So normally we use the vertical because we use the column to find the figure that we like. Now VLOOKUP is quite popular and quite important formulas, especially when you look for when you look for data for certain criteria regularly. For example, let's say if I work in a payroll, what will happen? If I work in a payroll, I have the data for all the employees. So, for example, how many employees are working there, and how much they're earning every week or every month. And let's say if I'm also in charge of the pension, so when I'm going to prepare the pension report, and it's also for you as well, in future, if you like to work on the payroll, you will see like normally the person who do the payroll, he is also responsible for the pension as well. So this person not only do the payroll, also focus on pension. Now, when you prepare the pension report, what happened? So you look at the wages summary and you see how many people qualify the pension for this week or for this month. And let's say, for example, you work for Tesco, and the Tesco have a 20,000 employee. And out of 20,000 employee, it will be not possible to check one by one. Let's say you're looking for only 50 people out of 20,000 people, or let's say you look for 500 people out of 20,000 people. Now, this VLOOKUP will help you to exactly what you're looking for. For example, if I have the data or name or national insurance number or employee code, any of the unique identification from this employee, so based on that, I can look for from the total data. So I have the whole report, and I can look for only the data that is relevant to this 50 people. So VLOOKUP will help us to do that. We're going to see this as well from here. And sometimes, let's say if you work for a hospital, you have a lot of drugs, you have a lot of medicine, and let's say you work for a specific medicine. So VLOOKUP will help you to find all the summary from all the summary for the specific medicine you're looking for. So VLOOKUP is quite interesting. We'll see that. Then the next one we have, that is pivot table. Pivot table. Pivot table. Pivot table is quite popular. Pivot table, for some people, they take this one as a software. Some people, they use the pivot table as a mini software. In pivot table, you can analyze the data the way you like. So for example, if you like to do the bank analysis for your client and you want to see how much is the total income, what is the income source, how much income from selling, how much income from the commission, how much is income from selling different product, you can see every single thing by using this pivot table. Pivot table is a mini software. You can play with different ways. So whatever report you like to get from the pivot table, that will be possible the way you want. So if you want the sales report, if you want the cost report, if you want the average, if you want the sum, if you want the count, every single thing you want, that will be possible to get by using the pivot table. So we're going to see the pivot table from this course spreadsheet. And then top of that, we'll see some other basic stuff. For example, uh, conditional formatting, conditional formatting. I'm sure all of you know how to do the conditional formatting. So if I like to find something, for example, if I have a data from 1 to 100, and if I like to know anything that is under over 90, I like to see only this figure. So if I put the conditional formatting, it will show me automatically how many figure are there that is over 90. For example, if I want to know, for example, if I have a group of a student, and I like to know who is score more. So if I said anyone get more than 80, I want to see only these people. So if I put the conditional formatting, this formula will tell me how many students they get more than 80% in the exam. Or if I like to see, like, okay, for example, I have a 100 employee on the payroll Excel sheet, and I like to see is that anyone just copied. For example, it is possible you put one name twice. So if there's something double or copied or duplicate, you like to find it. So you can use the conditional formatting to find it out, this data, or even you can remove it the way you want from there. All right, then we will see from few chart like the pie chart, bar chart. So you can see some chart from this course. and some basic stuff, for example, printing, how to do the painting with the area we like to set. We can see this one as well from here. And I would say more or less this will be in the exam. And if you understand all of this, obviously like that will be very easy for you to answer the question in the exam. But also it is very important for your workplace as well, as I said before. So we'll try to see how does it work. And there are a few things, the basic thing we're going to see as well. For example, how to make the border, how to make the color of the front, how we can do the ranking, how we can do the if with the color. So this thing we're going to see as well. There are a few examples that we're going to see from this course, and hopefully we'll be fine after. But as I said, you should have this Excel on your computer, and you should have do some practice based on whatever we're going to practice here. All right, so let's move on. There are a few explanation at the beginning. All of this, we're not going to see it. We're going to start with the example. So that like the question we're expecting in the exam. So let's move on there, and we'll practice from there. There's a lot of explanation we have in this book, so you can read yourself. But we'll see some exercise, and we try to understand how exactly that to work in the exam and the workplace. All right, so let me open one of the spreadsheet question that I have already downloaded on my computer. So I'm going to open that. You can always download this question on your computer as well, all of this exercise, because you cannot make all of this on the Excel. So this draft is already made by the BPP, so you'll be able to download that on your computer. And the way you have to download, I have sent the email. If you follow the instruction, you'll be able to download that. I'm using the Excel 365, so it might be a little bit different if we have a different version. But as long as we have this thing on the computer, on the Excel, that will be absolutely fine. All right, so we have illustration number 7. Is better on your, if you have a two screen with you during the exam time. So when you do an exam, make sure, especially the synoptic exam, make sure you have a two screen computer. So one, you can see the question, the next screen you can do the work. So maybe sometimes like you open the question and you have to minimize every time, that will waste a lot of time from you. So it's always better like you have your two screen on the exam day, so you can always keep the question in one screen, and another screen you can use for the Excel. All right, so by the time it is open, we can read this question what we have here. So spreadsheet construction, illustration 7, constructing a costing spreadsheet. So let's have a look what we have here. You want to set up a spreadsheet to record the time and your colleagues spend on an assignment and to cost it using your group internal charge out rates, which are as follows. So different people have a different rate of working, so they are giving to us that one. So it says divisional chief accountant, that is 72.50, assistant accountant, that is 38, accounting technician, that is U, 21.45, and secretary is 17.30. This is the per hour rate for one employee based on their position. Then we have the spreadsheet needs to show hour spend and cost per person by week for a 3-week assignment. So week 1, week 2, and week 3. So based on the 3-week, how much will be the cost? We're going to see all of this from there. So we have the time spent each week is shown below. Okay, so we have the first one we have, let me have a look. The first one we have, that is the divisional accountant. when the Zoom is open, sometimes it's take a long time to open the exercise. So when you do on your computer, it's not gonna take that long. So I have used before as well, but when the Zoom is open, it's take a little bit time to open the Excel. So nothing to worry. Don't think in the exam it will be take time, or when you practice, it's not gonna take time when you do on your computer. So okay, so we have here the divisional chip accountant, week number 3. We can see 6 hour 45 minute, and we can see we have for week 2 we have 4 hours 30 minute, and week 1 0 hours. Then we have assistant accountant 35 hours, then week 2 40 hours, then week 1 32 hours. Then the accounting technician, week 1 32 hours, and week 2 40 hours, and week 3 we have 37.5 or 37 hours 30 minutes. Then we have the next one. Let's have a look at that. The next one we have the secretary. So week 1 we have a 15 hours. Then week 2 32.15 hours, and we have a 37.15 hours. So this is the total we have the quotient. So now we'll see if we open that, we should see something like that. So let's have a look. Still it is opening. As I said, like when the Zoom is open, it will take time to open. Okay, so let's try to open once again. All right, so you can see here the first template we're going to see, that is from the workings, and the workings is already there. They tell us like some format here. So cost for week 1, week 2, week 3, that's the total. Then hours. Now when you set the hours, we have to remember one thing. In the exam, they'll give you like that. They might tell you like for the management accountant, they might tell you like for the divisional accountant, let's say they work 10 hours 45 minutes. Or for example, let's say the assistant accountant, he work, for example, uh, 10 hours 30 minutes. And let's say for the accounting, the secretary, let's say he work uh, 10 hours 75 minutes. Now when you're going to show this one in a number, so if you look at this question, they said 4 hours 30 minutes. What does that mean? If I like to show in a point, so for example, if I like to show in a number 4 hours, so I'm going to say 4 point what? I'm going to say 4.5. Now I'm sure like this one is very basic thing, but still I like to tell to everyone because I have seen the student, they get confused in the exam. So when we have like 4 hour 30 minutes 4.5, okay, what about it is 37.15 minutes, so 37 hours 15 minutes, how are we going to show that? So that will be our 37.25. So basically all of this, this one we're going to show in a number. Now we have 100 out of 100. Out of 100 we split it like, let's say 0.25, let's say 0.5, 0.75, and that's how it needs to be work when you multiply with the number of hours. Now let's say if I said like 45 minutes, is there anywhere 45 minutes? So let's say if I said 5 hours and 45 minutes, what I'm going to show here. So 5 hours 45 minutes. So I'm going to multiply. If I see this one, 5 hours 45 minutes, I'm going to show 5.75. I know, like all of us or few of us, you already know that, but still, it is very important to remember that. Yes, it is Sarka. It's kind of very basic thing, but still, I want you to remember that because obviously, like it will be in the exam like that. So they'll tell you 4 hours 30 minutes. So you have to understand 4 hour 30 minutes means 4.5. They'll tell you 37.15 minutes. So you understand that means 37.25. All right, very good. So I can see all of you know that. That's not a problem. So we'll move on then. Let's read what we have here. Notes to the following point. They said column A is wider to allow longer item of text to be entered depending on how your copy of Excel is set up. This might happen automatically, or you may have to drag a line between the A and B on the right column. Obviously, this one is quite normal as well. If I like to write something in one column and one row, I can make it longer if I like to write more things. So it's not like it always has to be like this size. So for example, if I like to write something here, I can always keep my cursor, and I can always drag it and make it longer. Or if I double click here, automatically it will make it bigger based on the space I need. It's a basic thing. We have used a simple style for heading. So heading tell user what data relates to and what the spreadsheet does. We have made some words bold. So they said like they make something bold week one. This is the one we can do it. We know how to make the bold. It's not a difficult thing. Numbers should be right aligned. So here we have something on the right hand side. So you can see everything on the right. So we can have a left, you can have a middle, you can have a right. So it's the basic thing again. We have a space in the left arrow, so this is not something we don't know it. Then we have how to make the border. So this thing, the one they said like underneath we have a like a line, and how to make this line. So this is quite simple. If we go to the cell style and we have this one, from here we can choose whatever you like. We can make a bottom border, we can make a top border, we can make a right border, we can make a thick border. It is very common for all of us. I'm sure like it's not something formal or anything, so we can easily do that. Then we have the entering data. So now we will see what exactly they're asking. Entering data. Enter the time data in cell B15 to D18. Now remember, B15 means the number we have on the top, that is for the row, for the column, that is A, B, C, D, F, G. But the row we have, that is basically like 1, 2, 3, 4. So the B15, it will be here. That one will be A, that is B, and the 15 will be here. So enter the time data in cell B15 to D18. Make sure you enter it correctly. The data is given to you in the order book 3 to week 1, but you prefer to do it week 1 to 2. So they said the question is given week 3 to 1, but you have to do 1 to 3 is the same thing. All right, they said inserting the formula. This is a little bit we need to read. Let's have a read that. The next step is to enter the formulas required. For example, in cell B19, you want the total hours for the week 1. In the cell B8, you want the total cost of the time. You could enter this formula B15 times B12. So we can multiply this cell to other cells. So B15 times B2. But you need to make sure that as you copy the formula across the week 2 and 3, you still refer the charge rate B2. As we said this one before. So if I use one specific rate and I want every single cell will be connected with that cell, then I have to use this absolute referencing. Otherwise, the Excel might not give me the same result. We'll check this one as well when you do the question. The quick way to insert a series of formula in is to type the initial one and then to copy across a new row or down a column. You may remember that cell reference are cleverly updated as you move along the row and column. This was called relative copying. However, that will give us into trouble there. If cell B8 contain the formula B15 times B2, and that is copied one cell to the right and into the column C, the formula will become C15 to C2 because the formula will not understand what we're exactly looking for. The C15 reference is correct because we are progressing along the row 1 month at the time, but the C2 reference is incorrect because it will take the next one. I want my left column will be same and it will be always connected with the top one, not like the one on the front. So that's the reason it will be incorrect. The location of the charge out rate does not move. It is obsolete. To prevent a cell reference being updated during the copying process, put a dollar sign in front of the row or column reference. So the one I want to connect to, I have to put the dollar sign before that. Let's read what does that mean. A reference like A1 will mean that column A is always referred to as you a copy across the spreadsheet. If you were copied down, the reference would be updated to A2, A3, A4, etc. Reference such as $1, that is absolute 1, will mean that row 1 is always referred to as you copy down the spreadsheet. If you were to copy across, the reference would be updated B1, C1, D1, etc., whatever. But a reference like A, like the dollar sign A and the dollar sign 1, will mean that cell A1 is always referred to. So I'm always referred to A1. So I put the dollar sign before A and before 1. So I want every single entry we're going to record that will be have a connection with the cell A1. And no matter what copying of the formula is carried out, so even if I double click, if I copy, still it will be connecting with cell A1. The function key F4 adds dollar sign to the cell reference, cycling through 1, 2, or 0 dollar sign. Press F4 key as you enter the cell address. Okay, you should end up with the following figure. So now we're going to move to the Excel and we'll try to see how can I do that. Okay, so there is a lot of explanation. So we will actually move to the Excel now and we're going to see how can you complete this question. So let's move on to our Excel and we'll see here what is the question. First thing they said, enter the hours, because they already give us the rate, the charge out rate, that is for the divisional accountant 72, accountant, we have assistant accountant 38, accounting technician 21.45, and the secretary 17.30. Now first thing we have to enter, this is our the rate. So let's enter the rate. How much is the rate we have here? So when you look at the rate, we can see here the first thing we have here, that is for the week 1. So we're going to put the hours. So week 1, we have a 0 hours. You have to remember the question because I have the question with me. I have a book. So if you have a book, all that is fine. If not, like you can see later on because you cannot see two screen at the same time. Week 2, we have 4.5 for the divisional chief accountant, and 4.5 means he worked 4 hours 30 minutes. Week 3, 6.75, and assistant accountant week 1, 20 hours, week 2, 40 hours, week 3, 35 hours, and then we have accounting technician week 1, 32 hours, then week 2, 40 hours, week 3, 37.25 hours. So this is I have total hours of working that I took from the question. And the secretary we have 15. Week 2 we have 32.25, and week 3 37.25. So that's all hours we have from the question. So once you have all of this, obviously, like all you need to do, you need to make a total of that. Now, to make a total here, there are a few ways you can do it. So any formula you like to start in Excel, we always start with equal sign. So as soon as I put the equal sign, that means Excel will understand I'm going to use a formula. So now if I like to use a formula on the Excel, what I can do, I can with the equal sign, I can add this plus this plus this, and that gives me total 11.25. And I can double click here, that will give me the total of that. So 95 of the total of this. If I want to check it, I can always click on the formula bar, it will show me that. So this is one of the way, I'm sure all of you know it. But if I don't like it, I said no, that will take me some time because I don't like to enter the formula manually. So there is another way we can do that. We can click here where we like the total, and we can always have something that is called auto sum, isn't it? So on the left corner, it might be somewhere else on your computer, but normally it is on the home tab. On the right corner, something called auto sum. If you click that, it will automatically show you how much is the total. So it will show you like what data they selected, the range. And if you're happy with that, you just press enter and it will tell you the total. And the same way we can do that. So same way we can double click here and that will make us automatically the total. So this is you can do manually the sum, you can add one by one, or you can use the auto sum. Even you can write the formula on the sum after inserting the equal sign, it will give the same thing. But the best way, the first way you can do is click the auto sum. So once we have this, I can do the auto sum here to find it out how much is the total hour in every week. So I can click, and after that I can do that to find the total we have. So this is the way actually we can do that. Now you can see here, if I don't see anything rounding, let's say if I like some decimal, for example, I want everything in 2 decimal. So what is the best way to get it? I select the range and there is small tab here. You can click here, or you can do the format with the right click. So for example, if I come here, if I do right click, it will give me the same thing. So I'll come here, I can click anything. For example, I can click the number. So let's the number, I want 2 decimal and I can click OK. So that will be on the 2 decimal. Now, obviously, like every single thing we do, there is a way of doing. For example, if I like to increase from here, I can do from here. If I increase from here, I can do from there as well. So all of these things we're going to do, that will be depends on what type of question we have in the exam, and we'll try to follow our shortcut because we can save some time from there. All right, so this is the way first we enter the data. Just make it total is quite simple. I think like there is nothing we have to worry about from here. So this one is quite straightforward. Just uh, accountant week is 37.5. Okay, so that's you said the assistant accountant. All right, is it 37.5? I took 37.25. Thank you very much. So let me change it. Thank you, Bejo. Thank you very much. All right, so we have a total 300.25. Very well done. So let's move on to the next section now. The next section is the section we have to show how much is the cost here, isn't it? This is the one we want to. So I was talking about the format selling. So you can click here, you can do see that, or otherwise you can always click any of the cell. You right click and you see here format selling, it will give you the same thing. So you can change based on your requirement, but we always have a shortcut. We can always look at the shortcut, that will be quicker for us. This illustration number 7, you can see on the top, illustration 7 is a costing exercise first draft. So the email I have sent it to you. If you download this file, and from there, if you open the illustration number 7, you will see that. Okay, the next point we're going to do the cost now. So let's have a look how we calculate the cost. Now we have a divisional chief accountant and we want cost for every single week. So we want how many hours you work on that week and how much is the cost. So divisional accountant, I can see week 1, he didn't work anything, just a 0 hour. So of course you're expecting the cost will be also 0. So let's have a look how we do that. First we do the call sign, we multiply with that, so that will give us B15. We'll take times by the rate of the divisional accountant. Now that is 72. Now we can leave as it is, and we can carry on that, but it might not give me the same result or correct result when I'm going to copy the information. Let's check it. For example, I just use it, and after that I did that. So I can see everything is zero, but actually it's not. Week 2, the divisional accountant worked 4.5 hours, and week 3, he worked 6.75 hours, but it says 00 because the Excel didn't understand it, what I exactly want from him. So that's why I have to use something called absolute referencing. That one we have already discussed. So I want to tell the Excel, listen, this is not the one I work. I want something absolute. So what I do, the formula is fine. Only I need to do, I need to add a dollar sign. So I'll press my shift and F4, and before 2, F4 again. So once I put this one, this is called absolute referencing. Now Excel will understand more what exactly I'm looking for. So if I press enter, it will be 0. But this time, if I do the copying, this time Excel understand what I want. So everything will be connected with this rate. You can see here, if I click here, if I click the formula bar, you see this and that is connected. And if I click here, if I click the formula bar, this and this is connected. So Excel understand more what I exactly want. So that's the reason we use the absolute referencing sometime. All right, then we do the next one. Same way, we have assistant accountant. So we can say we want this 20 hours, and the per hour rate will be 38, but we're going to use the absolute referencing. So we're going to see very slowly, and obviously we want to make sure we understand what we're doing. So 760 we have, and if you copy means if you just keep your cursor here and you wait for until the plus sign come. Once the plus sign come, you can hold your mouse and just drag in, so it will give you the total. Then we have a accounting technician. Press the equal key again, then 32 hours, and the per hour is 21.45, and I'm going to use again the absolute referencing. In the exam, they will tell you, in the question they'll tell you use the absolute referencing. So if they tell you use the absolute referencing, we have to use that. So we will carry on that. That will give me this figure. After that, the last one we have for the secretary. So we said equal sign, the secretary 15 hours, and the per hour is 17.30. You use the dollar sign, the absolute referencing, and we have that. That's it. Once you have this one, now we can make the total. Total is very easy. Click here and we can find the auto sum, and auto sum will do automatically for us. So if you enter, it will tell me how much is the auto sum, and after that, if we double click here or you can drag, that will tell us how much is the total. After that, we do the total again. I can do the auto sum from here and drag in, right, it will give me the total. So that's the way we can complete the whole structure for our costing quotient. And obviously this is the basic starting. We'll see how to complete this one. So this question is from the management accounting quotient, and obviously if any costing quotient come, that will be from the management accounting costing. Now the next point I like to discuss here, for example, if I like to see what formula I have used on the Excel, I can see it. So the way I can see the Excel formula, on the tab, you will see there is something called formulas. So if you click the formulas, and there will be some option appear on your screen, and there'll be something called show the formulas. And if you click the show formulas, it will show you exactly how many formulas I have used on which cell. So you can see all the formulas is now showing here. So if I like to change any formula, if I like to correct any formula, I'll be able to do that. So this one exactly show me how many formulas I have used. So if I want to go back, I just click here again, show formula, it will be gone. So if someone send you the Excel file and there is a lot of formulas there, and if you are not sure what type of formula they used, you can always come here, click the formulas, click the show formulas. It will show you How many formulas is there? All right, now we go back to the question again and we will see what else they're asking from us. So let's go back to the question. So we'll go back and we can see there are some more information for this question. So the more information here is, it says, however, after designing the spreadsheet, the one we have done, so we can see here, this is exactly the one we have done. So this one, they showed the formula here as well. So now we can check our spreadsheet with this formula. If it is match, we are happy. If it is not match, we can always make it correct. So it says, however, after designing the spreadsheet, you have find it out that divisional chief accountant has worked for 6 hours in week 4. So that we have done up to week 3, isn't it? We have done up to week 3, but now we have found the divisional accountant, he worked also 6 hours in week 4. So you have to add one more week after the week 3. So we said, all right. He also wants you to add in to your calculation the cost of using two laptop computer. So he's asking, can you add the cost for two laptops computer which were charged out at 100 per week each. So they said every laptop have a cost £100 per week. So I have a two laptop for first 3 week. So week 1 to 3 for the first 3 week. So week 1, week 2, and week 3, every week the laptop cost is £100 per week, and two laptops. So we understand two laptop is 200. So per week 200, 200, 200. And also 6 hours for the divisional accountant for week 4. You have also found out that the secretarial charge out rate was increased by 10% in week 3. So they're asking, so the secretarial, his rate is increased by 10%. So we have to add 10% in week 3. So that's fine. You now need to amend the spreadsheet to reflect the charge. So they're asking like, okay, you have done it. Now there are some additional information. Based on that, can you change your spreadsheet? And we said, yes, we can do that. So let's have a look. What is the steps here? The steps here, it says, insert a column between the D and E. Label E7 and E14 as a week 4. Okay, so obviously between week 3 and the total, we'll make a one more column. And how we do that, you can always click on the top column, like the column number E, make a right column, right click on your mouse, and you can say insert. It will give you the one insert new column. I'll show you how to do it anyway. Enter a formula in cell E8 to calculate the cost of this hour. So the 6 hours we have there. Insert a row between 11 to 12. So we will make a new row 11 to 12. Enter the laptop in cell A6 and A12. So in both row, I'm going to write laptops. In cell A22, enter laptops and enter the number of the laptop used in each week. So that will be two laptops, isn't it? So I'll say 2, 2, 2, 2. In cell B6, enter the cost of each laptop, that is £100. We know it already. Use the formula in cell B12 and D12 to calculate the cost of the laptop. So it will be 2 times 100, so 200 each week. Insert two row between 6 and 7. Okay, we'll do that. In cell B7, enter the percentage increase in secretary charge outs. Obviously, on cell B7, we have to add the 10% increasing for the secretary. Format this cell as a percentage. So we know how to do it. Amend the formula in cell D13 accordingly. Okay, you may have noticed that the total and hour is not altered. So we have to change it because maybe that is out of the range. This is because we have inserted the row column which are out of the range, and obviously original formula used to calculate the total. Amend your formula accordingly. So you have to double click so that the formula work again. So all right, so let's do that. So we have answer here. So before we see the answer, we'll go back to our question. We'll see how to do it. So let's move on to our question and we'll see how can we solve this. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we'll add some new columns and row. for the laptop and for the secretarial. So let's have a look at that. So we have a laptop on 6. So we're going to write laptop, laptop cost. Then we have a chargeable rate. So I'm going to make a new row. So what you need to do, if I like to make a new column or row above or like anywhere, I just select one row or column, then make a right click and just click insert. So it will give me the new one. So I'll make another one. So 7, I'll make a space for that. So obviously I'll make 2. So on the 7, I'm going to write charge out rate 10%. CHARGEOUT, charge out rate, that is 10%. So laptop cost, we have 100 and the charge out rate is 10%. Now if I put 10, you can see this gives me a number because everything I have with a number, so I have to change it. So how can I change it? I can change it two ways. The first one is quicker. So if I like to just click here, the percentage, so 10%, that will give me 10%. So the sign of the percentage, or I can change with the format. So I can click here and I can do my right click. I can click the format the cell. So format the cell. And from here, I can choose the percentage. That's it. So if I do that, that will give me the percentage. I can choose number, I can choose date, anything I like, I can format the cell. Okay, so our 2 addition is done. The next thing I'm going to do, they said add one more week. So between week 3 and the total, we have to add one more new week, that is week 4. So let's have a look. How can we add the week 4? So I'll click here, the last column we have, and right click and insert. So that will give me one more new uh, column here. So I'm going to work on that. So I'm going to say week 4. Now I can type week 4, or the Excel knows week 1, week 2, week 3. So if I just have the plus sign and if I drag it down, the system always automatically know I'm looking for week 4 because I have done week 1, 2, and 3. So system understand, the Excel understand the next one will be week 4. The way, like if we write number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the next one will be 10, Excel already know it. The same way, like for example, if I write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if I drag it down, the Excel understand that will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, so here they said only for the divisional accountant, and he worked how many hours? 6 hours, isn't it? So I'm going to write here week 4 as well, and only 6 hours here. Okay, so after that, we can see we have to use the same formula the way we did before. So if I do that, let's see if it is work or not. If I drag it, but yes, it is. If it is like kind of, if I see the formula, yes, it is working. So this is the one we have done for the divisional accountant, number 1. Number 2 is they said the charge out rate for the secretary, it will be increased from week 3. So we have to change the rate for him. So let's have a look what we have here. For the secretary, the first week we have 259. The next week we have 559, 557.93. But from week 3, he said he will get 10% extra. So we have to change the formula here, isn't it? So let's have a look. How can I change the formula from here? So week 3 secretary. So I'm going to, I will have this one anyway. So that is a D20. And from here, all you need to do, we need to add like 10%. So increase. So I would say that will be the new calculation. So let's have a look how much it was before. So it was before 708, 644. So let's have a look. If I increase it 10%, how much it is. So I said this. I can always use the bracket to do that. So I can say this. And after that, we want to add 10% on that. So I can set this. So that will be 10%. Actually, you can multiply with the 10% first. And after that, we can do the plus the same amount. All right, I think like we have to do other way. So let's do this one. So we have week 3, D21. So D21. Let's change the rate for the secretary. That's only for week 3, isn't it? Let's have a look at the question quickly. So it says the secretary rate will be 10%. You have also found that the secretary charge or rating is 10% in only week 3. Okay. So only week 3, we're going to change it. So let's have a look. How can I change that? So I'm going to multiply this with 10%. So multiply with that and plus again with this figure, B21. If we do 1.10, what will happen here? Well, there is few ways. So if we times by increase by 1%, but it will still work, but we don't want that way because we want to connect this one from here. So let's have a look. How can I connect that from here? So we have week 3. That is secretary. Seven. So let's put the bracket first. If it is 20, counting technician. So after that, we have B5. Yeah, so we are, yeah, I'm just putting the double bracket, but I'm just trying to see like why the cell is not matching. The formula I have here on the book that is showing it is D21, but we are showing the D20. So just trying to see why it is not working. Let's have a look what Catherine said. So if I write this one here, so that gives me for the 10%. And yeah, it should be D20. But if you look at the answer on the book, they said D21. So I think we missed one line from here. So that's the reason it says D21. But it's fine if we have a like two. If we have a like one more cell, I think we took one more cell less. So maybe you can check later on that. But the main thing here is like you can put a double bracket for that, or you can have a like a separate bracket. As long as it affects this 10%, it should be fine. But only the issue here is on the book, you see it is not D20, it is D21. So I think like we take one more row extra, and that's the reason it's showing it. But the number is same anyway, so it's not like the wrong figure. So it's the right figure we have. All right, so let's move on to the next one. This one we don't have anything, just the week 4 we have 6 hours, so it should multiply with that. So I'm going to say this is same. So this one we can do the auto sum. And this gave me the same thing. We'll come back later on if the formula doesn't match, but for the time being, we'll go ahead with that. All right, the next thing we have that is for the laptops. 14, that's the reason I think we didn't put the laptop yet. Yeah, so we didn't put the laptop after the secretaries, and that's the reason we are saying it is 20, but it should be 21. Yeah, now it's 21. So yeah, that's fine. So the laptop, we have a cost 200 each week. So have a 200 for week 1, 200 for week 2, and for the 200 for week 3. So this is the 3 week we have the laptop, not in week 4. And we make the auto sum to find the total. How much is the total from here for the laptop? That gives me 600. So this is for the laptop we have. And what else? The next one, they said the secretary, we already increased that. And the laptop number, they said cell 24. So on 24, they said write the laptop and tell the number how many it is. So 2 in week 1, 2 in week 2, and 2 in week 3. So you have a 3 week. Every week we have a 2. And anything else from we have from the question? Let's have a look. Is there anything else they're asking? So 6 hours in week 4. Add on your calculation. 100 per week for the first 3 weeks. And you have also the cost. Okay, that's fine. So I think like we didn't we did everything well, but only we have to do the formula for that. So let's use the formula for the laptop, because the price for the laptop we put it here. So you want to do the different way for that. So we can say we can use the formula with the absolute for referencing. So we said equal sign to laptop, and each laptop is £100, and we can use the absolute referencing for that, and that will give you 200 each. The reason I'm trying to be very accurate with the book, because we have to follow the instruction in the exam. There is a lot of way you can solve the formula in Excel. You can do on your own way, but actually to getting the mark, we have to make sure like you follow the instruction given on the exam, because in the exam the person going to mark your paper, they will see like, are you following the instruction or not. If the question said do the sum manually, then you do manually, add one by one. If the question said you can auto sum, you can auto sum. But when you do in the workplace, the work, we could do it right different way. There is no problem for that. But in the exam, we have to make sure you follow every single line they said. All right, let me quickly check the amount. We have everything. So this is the total. Maybe it's not impacted yet because we have just added that. So we have 1250. This one we have 2348, 1526. Then this one is not here yet, so we need to add that. This is the sum we have. So 600, and that gives me the total. I think every single thing we have here, we have connected that. Uh, in the exam, Luis, they will not give you the formula, but they'll tell you row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, column number 1. So they'll tell you every single line, every single column, every single cell, what you'll do. So it's not they will give you a question and tell you calculate it. No, they'll give you like 15, like 20, 30, 14 instruction. They'll tell you go to cell number this, multiply with that, go to cell number 2, use the absolute, go to cell number 3. So they'll tell you every single instruction. So it's very important. You have to follow every single instruction. And that's the reason you have to go back to the question every single minute. All right, I think this is the one they're asking so far from here. And we have done this one. And as I said, like we always need to check the formula once we've done it. So we need to make sure we go to the formulas, and we'll show the formulas to check like is everything looks good the way we done. If it is not, then we can always change the formula and make sure we follow the instruction what we have in the exam. Um, Now, Rosanna, as I said, like in the workplace, you can do the way best for you. But in the exam, you have to follow if they said something. For example, if they said make a total, then they didn't mention how to make the total, then you can do your own way. There is no problem for that. But if the question said like use the auto sum, so make sure you use the auto sum. If the question said like you use uh, the sum adding one by one, like column A, B, and C, then you do one by one. So if the question clearly mentions something, you use that. For example, even sometimes if we don't use the absolute referencing, we'll have the same answer. But if the question said use the absolute referencing, we will use that, because without that maybe it's not going to be easy for us. It's going to be easy for us, but obviously we're not going to get the marks because the question said use the absolute referencing. So we'll follow the instruction from them, and that's the reason we'll read the question very carefully. All right, so I think like we have answered whatever we need from here. And this one, you can use the absolute. Remember that you can have a two bracket here, or you can have one bracket and you can multiply with that. So even if I remove the bracket from here, and if I multiply and I put another bracket, two bracket here, one bracket, and here, so it will give you the same result. But it's not a problem. As soon as I use the absolute referencing, it will give me the full marks in the exam. All right, so this is the question we have done for our first question. This is the first question we have done for the constructing the calculation. The next one we're going to do, that is illustration number 1, that is commission calculation, and we'll see how's it work. And as I said, like we'll try to do more practice, because obviously in the exam the question will be more difficult than the answer. So the synoptic exam, the question itself is a headache, because the question will tell you this, and you have to look back every single cell. Even when you do the actual work, it's not that difficult, but when you read the question, it will give you a lot of stress, because it's not something we do in the daily life. When you will be in your workplace, you don't follow all of this. You need to done the work the way is quicker for you, but for the exam purpose, we have to follow like the cell and the number and all of this. All right, we're going to start illustration number 8, but before that, maybe we can take a break, and by this time I'll try to open it as well, and hopefully like when we come back, we'll start with illustration number 8. So let's take a break. When you come back, we'll start from there. You can write your name for the attendance. That will be helpful for the admin team. So I'll see you in half an hour time. All right, so commission calculation, illustration number 8. For Telcel staff, each earn a basic salary 14,000 per annum. So every single employee, they earn 14,000 per year. They also earn a commission 2% of the sales. So the basic salary is 14,000. On top of that, they have a commission 2% on sales. The following spreadsheet has been created to process their commission and total earning. So we have to see, is they entitled to get any commission or not, and how much will be the total. Give an appropriate formula for each of the following cells. We have a D4, E6, D9, and E9. And this is the template look like. We're going to open this one from the Excel. And the possible formula, they said we can use that, you can use that, and you can use that formula. All right, so let's have a look. Let's use the Excel template and try to solve this question. So we move to question number 8. That is from here. All right, so this one, they're asking how much will be the commission and how much will be the total earning. So let's try that. So the first we have to calculate the commission, and that is quite straightforward, because on the sales, the commission is 20%, so 2%, so that quite straightforward. So we can say you're going to put the equal sign, and after that we'll say the commission is on sales, isn't it? So you're going to say sales, and the commission is a fixed, so we can say multiply that rate, and we're going to put the absolute so that the other one calculate automatically. So that's my commission for 284,000. So all I need to do, I need to add this one, multiply with that. So after that, if I drag or if I double click, it will tell me how much is the total commission we have here. And the total earnings we have, we can do the auto sum. That will help us to calculate that. So that will tell us how much is the total. Now, if I do the auto sum, we have to make sure we're not adding the sales as well, because the total earning for these people will be salary plus the commission. So we need to make sure the auto sum only come up to here. You can select the range. There is no problem for that. So that will give you 19,860. If you drag, that will give you the full figure. Then the next point we have here, and that is we have the total. So we can do the auto sum from here. So that is 648. And if we drag it on the right, it will give the total figure. Now, if I like to make it bold, or if I like to make any sort of like a border, we can do that. So we can click this one, the B, it will make it bold. And also, if I like to put any border, if they said make a border, underline, make a something color, you can always do that. So we can select that, and from here we can see what you want. Let's see if we want one top and two bottom, so we can always select like that. So it depends on the question what they said, but this question only asks to calculate the commission, and it's not difficult. Only the important thing is like we have to use the absolute, and also the earning is basically the total of these two. So this is our illustration number 8. It's not very difficult. Let's have a look. Is there anything else they said from here? Okay, now this one, they said the if formula, we can see it. They said don't worry about it, we'll see in the later on. But if formula is quite interesting, even though if I like to see from this formula, let's have a look, is it work or not. If we like to see if formula from the question illustration number 8, let's say the formula we have here, that is this plus this is this, isn't it? So if I like, if no, this 3 is this. Anyway, let's have a look the next one anyway. So this is the illustration number 8. So we move to the next illustration number 9, and we'll have a look the if formula from there. So let's move on to the next one. The next one we have here, that is actual versus budgeted. This type of question mainly come in the exam for the synoptic. So they will ask you to calculate the variance analysis. Now, variance analysis is quite easy. It's not very difficult. It's like kind of you find the budgeted, you find the actual, and you find the difference. So budgeted minus actual, difference is called variance analysis. The variance could be favorable, variance could be adverse. So if it is, for example, if it is your if the budgeted cost is more than the actual, then it is adverse variance. If the budgeted costs are less than the actual, it is favorable variance. So this is the way you calculate the variance analysis. So we have a sales, this is the budgeted, we have a sales, this is actual, and the difference is called variance analysis. And the variance analysis, it could be favorable and could be adverse. Now, favorable is the positive figure and the adverse is the negative figure. So the adverse figure you can show in a minus or you can show in a bracket. Anything you can do. Like if you show in a minus, still you get a full figure. If you show in a bracket, still you get full marks, unless the question said show in a bracket. Now sometimes, like for some student, it could be difficult to put the bracket because some of the Excel, they don't have it already installed, how to put the bracket. When you format the cell, the bracket is already not there. If this is the case, you can always download that, and if you download that, you can see it there. So let's have a look. What is the question here? It says actual sales, budgeted sales. Actual sales compare with the budgeted sales. A business often compare its result against the budgeted or the target. It is useful to express the difference or variation as a percentage of the original budget. For example, sales may be 10% higher than the predicted. So obviously, like whatever is the plan, the budget is just the estimate. Budget is not actual figure. Budget is just the estimate. So my actual figure can be more than the budgeted, can be less than the budgeted. Continuing the tells cell example, a spreadsheet could be set up the following difference between the actual and the target cell, expressing the difference as a percentage of the targeted cell. Okay, so let's do that. Let's open the illustration number 9 from the Excel. So let's move on there and we'll see how can you do that. All right, so they said first we need to find the difference, isn't it? So we have the uh, budgeted cell and we have the actual cell. We need to find the difference. So the difference is quite simple. We can just like find the difference, equal sign. So that is actual minus budgeted. So that will give me exactly like how much is the difference. And of course, if I double click, it will tell me the total. You can see some of the figure are minus because it's a negative. Now, if it is a negative, obviously like we have to show in a negative, the minus figure, or we can show in a bracket. I'll see if my Excel 365 already have built in. I can do that. Otherwise, you can always copy this one from the Google. If you just type how to show bracket and you'll have a little formula, you copy it and paste it there. You can always do that. I'll show you how to do it anyway. And after that, we can do the difference, the percentage of the budgeted. So I can always select and make it like a percentage so that everything will be percentage here. So I'm going to show here, for example, I'm going to show here like equal sign, the difference, and I'll divide by the budgeted figure. Remember that when I'm going to show this one with the budgeted, I'm going to show, I'll divide with that. So if I divide that, it will show me like 3%. And if I want to put it in a decimal, I can always increase it. I can say I want to make 2 more. So 2 decimal is the standard. Every time when you do the synoptic exam, we need to make sure we keep 2 decimal. It's a standard. And if I double click, it will show me the percentage. If I don't want to keep the percentage, I can always click that. So it will be showing the number. From here, I can always change it. So if I set the number, it will give me the number. If I like the general, it will give me the general. So the way we like, we can always do that. But for the exam purpose, you need to see we have a percentage in the top. So obviously, we need to make sure we'll put the number here because percentage on the top means like everything we have here is a percentage. So we'll do that. So we said equal sign. So we can use the bracket in order to make sure we are doing the right way. So this divide this, and we can times by 100 if we like to show this one. So this one come as a percentage. When we see that percentage in the top, that means everything is a percentage here. Now the next thing we're going to see, if I like to do it in a bracket, if I like to do in a bracket, so there is few way you can do it. So for example, the first one, I want to do this one. So let's say I select that, and after that I'll do the right click and I'll go to the format cell. And on the format cell, you can see customize is always there in the customize, but if not, you have to make yourself. So we need to see something with the bracket comes. So normally it's already here, but if it is not here, we have to make one. Okay, it's not here. I have a Microsoft like 365, it's not here. So I can always make one. I'll show you how to make. So no, I don't see it here. So if we go to Google, just type like negative sign in a bracket. So they'll give you a little thing. I'll show you how to find it out. So you can always type here like a negative number in bracket. So there'll be little thing come one formulas, and I think you can choose any of that. So you can copy from here, just that one. And if you go back to our Excel now, And we just like choose any of these, and maybe you just paste it here, and we said okay. And after that, if we double click, hopefully it will be changed to the bracket. So I can make the format again, and I'll come to customs. Now I'll choose the bracket. You can see the last one. Once you add it, it will be here on your computer. And after that, you can always make that the way you like. So some of the computer you already have with you. If I don't like this one, the thing you can see here, the full stop, I can always remove that as well. So I can remove that from here. And if I press OK, double click, the full stop will be gone. So I can do the way I like. So if it is not already on your Excel, you can always change that. You can always copy the formula and get it from there. But if you keep the minus sign, you still get the full marks in the exam, because the AAT allow both the negative marking for the minus and the bracket. You can choose anyone. All right, so once we have this one, and then we can make the total for that. So we can see how can we make the total. So we can sum up for that. Auto sum, that gives me 638. Then you can drag to get all of this. So this one, we don't need that here, because this will be the difference of that. So we don't need really that for here. So this is like the variance analysis, and this variance analysis question can come in the exam. And the variance analysis is the difference between obviously the budgeted and the actual. So if I find if this type of question come, that will be based on the management accounting question. So they will tell you like this is the cost for a direct material, direct labor, factory overhead. And after that, they'll tell you what is the difference between the budgeted and the actual. So you have to find the difference. And after that, you have to calculate the variance analysis. They might ask you for the percentage, or they might ask you to put the is it favorable or adverse. If it is a positive figure, remember that you show as a favorable. F represent the favorable. If it is a negative figure, we write as adverse. So A represent the adverse. So this type of question if come, all you need to do, you need to find the difference, and you do the percentage if the question asks you. And then is there anything else this question asking? No. So let's move to the next point. The next point they're asking about the if question. So let's have a look. What is the if we have here? It depends on the question, Sarka. If the question asks you to find it out, how much is the overstated or how much is understated, you can find the difference for that. But if the question just asks you the individually, what is the difference between the budget and the actual, so you can find the difference based on that. So, but if the question asks you the overall, the profit statement, if the question what is the impact on the profit, you can do this one as well. It depends on the question. All right, so this question will be continue for the next question. Let's have a look. What is the next requirement we have? The next requirement we have for the if function is said if with conditions. Let's have a look at that. So we move to the next point. The formula with the with condition if function says suppose the employee. Okay, this one is like the explanation all of this. I think we can go to the bottom and have a look. Now if formula is kind of like represent like what if it this, then what will be the actual result. Now if formula, we can use it for a few purposes. We can use it for less than. So for example, if I say like let's say if I write it down, for example, if I said let's say if I said 5 plus 5, 5 plus 5 will be equal to 10. Now, if I try to use this one with the if formula, so I'm going to say if, Let's say this one is the A1, and this is, for example, B1, and let's say this is basically C1. So I'm going to say if A1 plus B1 equal C1. So it should be A1 plus B1 should be equal to C1, isn't it? So I want to check, is it right or wrong? So if I want to check something like that, I can use the if formula. So I can say A1 plus B1 equal to C1. So if it is right, then I'll say right, for example, correct. And if it is not, I'm going to say check. So the way we use the formula, if we type after the equal sign, we said if, and after writing the if sign, if, then what we do, the formula will come automatically. So we write if A1 plus B1 equal to C1, then I put the comma, then I write this correct. If not, then check. So this one will tell me is it correct or check from this formula. And this one I can use for equal to. So I said I can use for less than. I can use for less than or equal to. I can use to equal to. I have to use this sort of sign on the formulas if I like to do it. Then greater than or equal to, greater than or not equal to. So you have to remember all these signs. So which one is uh, equal to, which one is greater than, which one is less than but not equal to. So this sort of sign you have to remember because you have to put the formula by yourself. All right, so let's have a look. One of this example we have here, illustration number 10. So let's have a look what we have here. It said using the if function, a company offered a discount 5% to the customer who ordered more than 10,000 worth good. A spreadsheet showing what customer will pay may look like. So basically, the question here is like if the customer buy more than a 10,000 pound product, they will get 5% discount. Now we like to know who will get the discount and who will not get. So if someone order more than 10,000, so on the formula, I can give him the instruction to the Excel and I'll tell them if someone buy more than 10,000, give him the discount. If not, don't give. So let's open the Excel sheet, illustration 10, and we'll see exactly what we have there. So we can see here we have the already done for us this one, but actually you can look at the formula. So the formula says if B8, that is our this is our condition. So this is our number. If something is more than 12,000, so if the 12,000 is more than 10,000, that is here C3, then obviously we put the formula here. B8 will get discount, that is 5%, otherwise zero. Let's try to do this one with the formula ourselves. Maybe we can understand more after. So let's have a look that. I'm going to remove the formula from here and we try to do slowly so that we understand that. So I want to know how much will be the discount and who will get the discount. Now the question is if someone buy more than 10,000, they will get 5% discount. This is the story of the question. And I can see some people buy 12,000, some people buy for 9,000, some people 8,000, and some people 20,000. For my understanding is if someone buy 12,000, they will get the discount because they are buying more than 10,000 pound. This two will not get the discount. And this one, 20,000, also will get the discount because he also buy more than 10,000. And how much are you going to charge from them? This is the question. So I will use the formula with the if. So I'm going to use the equal sign. Every formula I'm going to start with the equal sign with if. So I'm going to say if the first thing I'm going to put which one I'm going to indicate. So my cell. So I'll say uh, if B8, that is if someone buy if 12,000. So I'm giving the first cell. If this cell is what? More than I'm going to put the sign, the more than sign, this sign. So if this cell is more than which one? 10,000. If this cell is more than 10,000, C3, isn't it? If this cell more than 10,000, and this is the one I want to do for every single cell. If I have a 1,000 row, I'm gonna use it for every 1,000 row, or for 1,000 entry. So I'm gonna make it this one absolute, because I want every single row will be impacted with this 10,000. I want anyone buy will check, is he paying, if he buying for more than 10,000, less than 10,000. So I'm going to use the absolute referencing for that. So if someone buy more than 10,000, what will happen? He will get some discount. So I'm going to give the comma onto the logical test now. So logical test is done. So I want, what was the logical test? If someone buy more than 10,000, if this column B is more than 10,000, then what I'll do, they'll get some discount. So what will be the discount? So this one, B8 will be multiply by what percentage? That will be our discount, isn't it? C4. So I'm going to say they will get discount. Again, I'm going to put the absolute referencing, because discount will be applied for every single one. Otherwise, they'll receive a discount 0. I'll close this one. So what is the story here? If my column for the B, if it is more than 10,000, then they will receive the discount, that is 5%. Otherwise, they will get 0. So I'll do the enter here. It should tell me how much is the discount here. So I can see, because he's buying more than 10,000, he getting discount for 600. But if I double click, or if I do that, I can see these two people will not get the discount. Why? Because these two people buying less than 10,000, and the net amount is going down, because actually this is the difference between these two. Because if someone buy more than 10,000, they will receive this discount. So that's why this is the way. If we have like 100 product or 1,000 product, if I use this if formula, that will tell me automatically who need to pay how much. For example, John will pay 11,400, for example Margaret 9,000, and I don't have to do one by one. If I just give the logical test, and formula will calculate for me automatically. So this is the story of the if formula. And obviously, like, there are a few other things as well we can do with the each if. So we'll see on the next example. So let's have a look at the next example we have. So the next example we have, because if will be definitely in the exam, so we need to make sure we understand if formula. The next formula we have for the illustration number 11 says, open the spreadsheet, we already done that. So it says the pass mark has been set 50%. So basically, let's say we have some student and we have set up the pass mark that is 50%. See if you complete column C, row C to 15, so that it shows the pass and the candidate over 50 or above, fail if candidate get less than 50. So basically, we have some candidate and we have the marks for them, and we have set up the score. If someone get more than 50%, 50 or more, it will show pass, and if someone get less than that, then it will be fail. So see if you can complete this. Is this okay? Once you have set up the working correctly, change the pass mark cell B3 to 60 and ensure that pass and fail indication correctly. Okay, so they said once you're done that, you can change as well. It's not difficult, we can do it. So let's have a look. Let's open illustration number 11. So let's open number 11. Okay, so we have some student here, and we can see Alif, Beth, David, and this is their marks. And we like to see who passed and who failed, isn't it? We want to use, and the pass mark set by the company or the organization is a 50. So if someone get 50 or more, he's passed. If someone get less than 50, he will be failed. So we want to use the if formula to calculate that. So let's start with the equal, because any formula we do in Excel is start with the equal. So he said if so I have to set up the logical test first. So I'll say this one, isn't it? If B6, so I'm going to set the first column, and the next one will done by the Excel automatically. We'll say if B6 equal to, so is it B6 more than 50, isn't it? If B6, if this column more than 50, isn't it? And I'm going to make it absolute, because I want every single cell we have here that will be impact, or it will be connected with this 50. So I want absolute. So I want this one. So if this column is more than 50, and I want to tell it is a pass, isn't it? So once this is done, I'm going to make a comma. And after that, anything I want to write, I have to make two things on the top. I don't know what is that called, but it is something on the keyboard on your two. So this thing, you have to make a double colon on the top left, on the top right, and you have to write pass. You can write anything you like, but this is the one the question said. And after that, you put a comma. Otherwise, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to make it fail. Fail, or maybe I'll make it fail. All right, and once we have it, what we do, we close the bracket, and that's it. So what we have here, okay, if it is a space mark, okay, that's fine. So yeah, yes, is it more than or equal? Exactly. I'm sorry, I forget that. Thank you, Akesi. So we have this one, because we are looking for more, not more than 50. If someone get 50, he will also be passed, isn't it? So obviously, if someone get 50 or more, we're looking for that. So if I just put like more than 50, that means if someone get 50, he is also failed. But we're looking for the pass mark is 50. So that means if someone get only 50, he's also passed. All right, so we have this. I think I should type the formula right way. So let's see it is work or not. So I can see it is pass. It's not very easy to remember all this formula, because when you work in the Excel, exactly like we don't type all of this thing. So obviously, like it is for the learning purpose, but when you're actually working in the organization, you might not going to type all of this formula. All right, so we have this one. So we said if this column, so 50 or equal, if it is more than 50, so this sign gives me more than 50 or equal to 50, then this column we have a 50, then we'll say pass, otherwise failed. So if this column equal or more than that, otherwise to pass, it will be failed. So I said, all right, then after that we'll double click, and it should tell me like how many students pass and how many failed. So let's have a look if we have done correctly. So you can see 51, 56, and 82 there pass, and 42 is a fail, then 68 pass, 36 is a fail, and all of this less than 50 is a fail. Now, if I change the category, for example, if I said, no, it is not 50 anymore, pass, from now, they need to get 60 in order to pass the exam. So if I change that, it should change the figure as well. So it should change the description, it change the status as well. So you can see now, as soon as I make it 60, we can see this is fail, this is fail, and this is fail as well. So only this pass. So if I make it, for example, 30, I can see everyone pass, because everyone get more than 30, isn't it? If I make it 30, I can see everyone pass. So obviously, it's just like kind of the way you want to complete the requirement based on your work, because it's not the same thing you will do. But if you understand that exactly like based on your requirement, you can use this formula. You can say, oh, I can use the formula to check is it correct or not correct. So you can use equal to, you can use more than, you can use less than. So based on the requirement, you can complete your statement. All right, so this is more about the if formula. Let's have a look. Is there anything else you have in the question? So is there anything else they're asking? After that, they said the count if. Now the count if is like how many is here, you can count that. I think it is quite simple. It's not very difficult. So let's have a look. How can I do that? The count if I like to see how many people are there, so we can always do that. So then after that, they shows in a sign. So they said you can make the red, you can make the green. Who is failed is red. If someone pass is green. So that's fine. So let's have a look what we have here for the count if. Okay. All right, so I think the next point you're going to see that is this is not the illustration. This is just from the explanation from here. The count if the count formula can be used count how many cell value meet the specific if criteria. So all right, then we have some assessment focus. In the assessment, you may be asked to analyze and interpret the data, including using the forecasting tool. Make sure you understand how the difference tool used. Okay, so there is nothing. We have the example here. So let's move on. What else we have? There's the if formula again. So we have done this. It's not example. Okay. So I think the next point here, the conditional formatting. So let's have a look what is the conditional formatting we have here. So we'll follow the same example. This is illustration number 11. So here they said, how can we do the conditional formatting? Now the conditional formatting is a quite interesting formula. From here, we can see like if I like to see how many fail is here, how many pass is here, and if I see like if someone get more than 51 is a fail, less than 50 is a fail, more than 50 is pass. Even I can check from there as well. So for example, from here, if I like to see how many people are failed, so I want to see everyone failed. I want to show them in a red color, or if anyone passed, I want to show them as a green color. So first, um, I need to make a select. I need to make a selection of that, and once I select it, I will go to the home button, and on the home section there is something called conditional formatting. And if I click that, the first point we have highlight the cell rules. And on the highlight cell rules, we have greater than, we have a less than, we have a between, we have equal to. So we can choose anything. For example, if I choose the equal to, and on the equal to, I write, for example, fail, F-A-I-L. I write fail. And if I press OK, so what will happen? Every single people who failed, you can see it become red. Now, if I like to clear it, I can always select it, and I can click and clear the rules and clear the rules for the selected cell. It will be gone. And if I like to see how many people is fail from the mark, I can select that and I can go here and I said highlight the cell. I said less than. So I can say if someone get a less than 60, they are fail. So if someone get less than 60, they will be the rate. So if I do 60, it will be the rate. So the way is a requirement. The way you want, you can always do that, and we can always remove that uh, the rules from here. And also they're asking how can I do the green as well. If I like to see the pass, I can make it green. So I can go here, I can go equal to, and I can go to the light green. So I can make any color I like, and from here I just say it like pass, and all the pass we have, it will be green. So the conditional formatting will help you from the whole worksheet to check like what is the result you have, and based on the result, if you like to categorize it, so you can categorize it from there. So this is the conditional formatting, I believe. Let's have a look. Is there anything else we have from this question? So they say less than. So if said if someone is less than this amount, 50, make it red. So they done it like less than 50, and all become red because it's less than 50. And this is the way they're writing here. Change the pass rate back to 50%, then highlight the number in B, then conditional formatting, highlight the rule less than. So you can do anything that you like the way you want. All right. So, and they said the pass, if you see the pass, then make it green. So you can make it green the pass. So obviously, like I think this is quite easy. It's not very difficult to do that. Okay, the next point we have the ranking. So for example, from here, if I like to see who passed the exam and who failed the exam or who get the highest score. So from this spreadsheet, you can see here, someone get 82, someone 42, and I like to make the rank, like who become number one, who become number two, who become number three. So we can do the ranking from here. So there is a formula to do the ranking. So what you do is start with the equal sign. After that, you put the number we like, then the reference, then the order. So the number is basically the cell reference. So this one is our default cell. So I want to start with this number. So obviously this number will be based and everything will be calculated on based on that number. Then the reference, the range. So I will select the range from which range, for example, A1 to A10. So I'm going to select all of this and determine whether the number is right is ascending or descending order. Use the 0 for descending order, 1 for the ascending order. So this is just like how you want, but we normally use the 0 to show it, like from the 0 to the rank will be started from there. The name is the main in the exam result spreadsheet are in alphabetical order. Say you want to keep them in that order, but you want to see who come first, second, third, so you can rank them. So let's have a look. How can I do the rank? So you're going back to the same example, 11, and we're going to see how can we rank them. So who is become number one, number two. So I said rank. Now the rank, the formula itself is called rank. So you're going to use with that rank. So let's have a start this formula. So you're going to say rank, R-A-N-K. So the rank itself is a formula. Then we're going to choose the first default one, what we like. So the cell. After that, we're going to put the comma and we're going to select the range. So that will be from here to here. So you're going to say from B6 to B15. So you're going to say B6 to B15. You can do the drag as well if you like, and we will do absolute because we want to make everything like with in order. But even if you don't do absolute, it will be still work. But on the same side, if you want to be in a safe side, you use the absolute. So B6 and B15, B15. So this B6 we don't need really anyway. Even some of the formula, if you don't use the absolute, it will be still give you the same figure, but it's up to you. You can use it, but if the question want, you have to do it. So we said that. Otherwise, we said the descending. So we put the 0 from the alphabetical order and we press enter. And after that, we can see it will should give the figure. So let's remove that. I think we choose the cell for the absolute. So it's adding everyone. So let's try that. So it should work. Yeah. So the ranking here is the first thing we have to set up the cell. So I want to set the B6 first. Any cell I want to start with the formula, I have to give one indication. So I want this default cell, and based on that, it will work the other number. And after that, I have to select the range. So I want B6 and what will be the ranking based on that from whole cell. It could be more the full column, but we have only from B6 to B15. And after that, we tell like what exactly we want. We want the ranking, so we start from the 0 because it is alphabetical order. We want 0. So you can see here based on the ranking. So you can see this guy is rank number 1 because he got 82%. So 82% is the highest mark. So he is number 1, and number 2 is 75, and number 3 we have 72. And obviously we know if I like to make it in order, we can always sort it. So you can always like select it, and after that you can make a sort. So if you come data, you can have a sort from here. So sort will tell you like the way you want. You can always change it. So if I go to the rank, if I want from the highest to smallest, so it will change it. So it is like kind of we know it how to do the sort is quite common for all of us. We do it every day. So you can see number 10, number 9, number 8, so we can sort it from there. There is something called advanced sort. We're going to see maybe on the next lesson, the advanced sort that will be help us to understand how can I do some advanced level of sorting. But sorting and filtering is quite easy job for us. We do it everyday life on the working. So but this is the way we can do the rank. So if I need to for example, if I produce some product, if I like to give the ranking based on the profit, for example, if I said I'm making 5 pen and every pen have a different type of profit, or I'm making 100 type of medicine and every medicine have a different type of profit. So I want to give the ranking which one I'm going to make fast based on the profit. I can always give the rank. I can use this technique to do the rank in a minute, so it will tell me which one I should make, which one gave me more profit. All right, let's move to the next one. The next one we have here on the question, that one I have a chart. So I have illustration number 12, pie chart. We're going to maybe see this one. After that, we'll finish our lesson today. So we'll try to do the chart. Chart is not very difficult thing, but let's have a look. If you can make one chart, you can make all the other chart as well. The chart is already built in on your software. All you need to do, like, you know how to use it. So let's have a look. Illustration number 12. Here it says like open the sales discount spreadsheet. This is the one of the example from the BPP spreadsheet. Place your cursor on the word customs. Hold down the mouse button, drag the cursor down until you have. So basically they're asking select all of this. So select the customer and the sales, select the insert, then pie chart, and select the 3D pie. So okay, we'll do that, and it will be look like that something. So let's have a look. So first we'll go there, illustration number 12. I think I should have it here. So this is the one they said, and the first thing they're asking you to do, they said select the customer and the sales. So we select, so the chart will be prepared based on the information we have selected. So we have selected customer and the sales, so obviously it will be based on that. So the next thing I'm going to do, that will be insert. I think the chart is an insert, isn't it? So if I go to the insert, I have a pie chart. There's a lot of chart we have here, bar chart, pie chart. So it depends what the question asking, and they're asking choose the 3D one. So let's choose the 3D one, and I can see this is my chart. And the chart we have there is look like that, I believe. So they have to have a name here. So you can move the chart the way you like. And this is the bar chart. This is the pie chart. So now if you double click, there will be a lot of like option here as well. Let's say there is a lot of template here. You can like the one you want. There is the no restriction for that. And all this thing you can see editable. You can always edit that. So based on your requirement, you will be able to use that as well. So for example, if I double click here, you see on the right hand side, they give me some option. For example, let's say I want only the name, not the percentage. So I can click the percentage, it will take out the percentage. If I like the percentage, I can keep. I can keep the series name, that is sales. I can click, so it will tell me the sales, Julie, sales, William. I can move it out the way I like. I can show the legend key, so that will show the legend key. If I not it's like I can show the value as well. So basically everything I want I can show or change from here. If I like to change the value cell, I can do that from here. If I like to put the color, so I can choose the color from here. So there is a lot of option I can do with the chart. I can make it bigger if I like. If I like to keep it small, I can do. I can always change the template from here the way I like. I can basically do that. So this is the pie chart we have. We have a different chart as well, like the bar chart, a different type of chart, but it depends what the question asking to you. You have to follow that. If the question asks you to change something, you can always click here. Even you can change from here as well. So for example, if you like to just remove the percentage from here, you will be able to do that from here as well. So every single thing you want to do, you can make a field from here as well. If you like to make any color, it will be able to do that. So the chart you can make the way you want. There's a different template. There is a different line of filling everything. But all you need to do to double click, it will give you all the option here. All right, so I think this is not very difficult. The chart you can practice yourself, and it's not something you will be stuck in the exam for that. All right, so there is some other chart as well, the bar chart, and there is there's a different format, the line chart. So all you need to do is to select from the computer, it will come automatically. This type of chart, you can click, double click here, you can change the color. They might tell you like high cell, make it green, and the lowest cell, make it blue. You can always do that. For example, let's see if we go back there, the chart we have make. So let's see if we try to change it, this chart, and let's say I want to make it this one. Let's say I want to make it a different chart. So I select the cells and the customer. I want to make a different chart. I said I want to make a bar chart, for example. Let's all make a this chart. And if the question said like, okay, the highest level cells made by the Julie, so make this tab or make this column a different color. So you can always click here, and this color will be like, and if you right click, it will help you uh, to show some different type of color option here. So you can always make a color what you like. You want to make it like, for example, blue, because it is the high cell, you can make it blue. You can outline it as well. So if you like to make it outline, you can outline it with a different color. So it's like the way you want. So there is nothing like very hard here. So if you spend some time with the chart, it will give you like exactly what you want to do with the chart. But the chart question will not be very difficult in the exam. So I hope like if this question come for the chart, it will not be very difficult for all of you. Let's have a look what else we have here except the chart. And then the next option we have here, we can see that is like it says the uh, printing. So that is, I don't think any question will come in the exam for the printing, but it says page layout and printing. I can little bit show you how can you do the page layout and printing. So let's move on to that illustration number 12 again, and maybe I can show you that the printing layout. So sometimes, for example, in our Excel sheet, if we have a lot of range of data, but we don't like to print everything. We just like to print one specific thing. In this case, all we can do, we can select that range and we can print that. For example, let's say if we go to the um, if we go to our page layout, I think so on the page layout, if you go, you see there is something called print area. So that will tell you set the print area. So that means what you want to print. So let's say I want to print, for example, I want to print, for example, only this. I don't want to print this. Just want to print this customer sale discount and net price. So I said, okay, so I just select the range. This is the one I want to print, and I click the print area and set the print area, and after that it will be selected. And once it is selected, I can click the print. So I can say Control P, or I can go to the tab and I can go to the printing option, and it will say assessing the printing. Now you can see like only the selected area, it taking me to the print. And obviously like I'm not going to print it, but if you like to print, you can print it. And sometimes you want to see, you want to move it, you want to set up the page, you can click here, the page setup, and the page setup will tell you like how you want to set up the page. For example, if it is too big, sometimes the information is too big and it's not coming in one page, so you can always fit to one page. You can click like fit to one page, or it will be adjust one page. You can do that way. And if you want to print like portrait, you can click that. If you want to print as a landscape, you can print like that. You can set up the margin as well. So if you want to don't keep, if you don't like to keep too much margin on the top, header, right, you can always choose the size from here. And for example, another thing is important, like for example, if I like to print it with the border, for example, I didn't make the border, and before the print I would like to make a say grid line. So I'll go to the sheet, and here there is something called grid line. So if you press the grid lines, and you'll see it will be like with a line now. So now it will come with a line. So when you print it, it will show as a line. So sometimes like we like to print something and I forget to put the border, but if you do that, it will print like that with the with the border line, with the grid line. I think it's like quite easy thing. All of us, we know it is not very difficult. And I think that's all we have for this chapter, for the introduction. And I think that's all. Like this is the end of the chapter. The formulas, the VLOOKUPs, and the pivot table, all of this we're going to see from the next chapter. That will be more formula, because this one is kind of like the introduction. And hopefully, like when you do next week, we'll try to do more formula from the chapter number 4, and we try to do it from the beginning and try to see how many formula exactly come in the exam. I'll try to focus on that. And of course, like I'll try to open this one before the lesson so that we don't have the same issue like today. So it takes some time to open. And hopefully, like all of you have the email, you know how to download this. If you need any help, if it's not working, make sure you email me. I'll try to send you maybe another link how to download it. But you should have this on your computer. You should have some practice before your synoptic exam, because until you practice, because even if you practice, you'll keep forgetting, because this is not the thing we do every day. So we have to do some practice before the exam. And yes, I will send you the link for the synoptic book. If you need, just send me a link, send me a email like you need the synoptic link book. I'll send it to you that as well. We'll try to do three lesson, one for the Excel, maybe the next lesson, and one more. So we'll try to do three. We'll see how it goes. There is synoptic exam in July side. Yes, there is synoptic exam in July. Yes. I'll maybe send you the synoptic timetable for the whole year to all of you. Maybe it will be helpful for all of you to decide the date. I'll send you everyone the synoptic exam date, the PDF file, so you can check yourself. All right, guys. So thank you very much for joining me today. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me. Otherwise, we'd like to say thank you, everyone, for joining me today. And we'll see you next week, same time.